This is a video about cardboard. Over the past few years, a lot of the materials that cosplayers use to make their big and awesome props have become much more accessible, like EVA foam, Worbla, and 3D printers. However, all of these things aren't necessarily the easiest for people to use or find, and they certainly are not beginner-friendly. That pile of cardboard that you have in your recycling bin, however, easily accessible, cost-effective, eco-friendly, and surprisingly versatile. I am not an expert prop maker by any means, but I am a bit of a cardboard connoisseur. I absolutely advocate for using materials that are on hand wherever you can. It's how I made a lot of my favorite props, including my Vanny mask, my Maka scythe, and ooh, I didn't make this one, my friend Olivia did, but it's entirely cardboard and spray paint. Look at how sick this is. I've been meaning to show it off because it's in the background of a lot of my things. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you my go-to techniques when using cardboard to make props, using this dagger as an example.
To start a project, the first thing you need to do is sketch out your design. I'll be using this empty box of Girl Scout cookies for the sketch layer. Cut open the box so the packaging side can be laid down flat, and draw on the blank side. This makes your design easier to see and easier to erase and adjust. Once you're satisfied with a design, you can cut it out. I like to use scissors for straighter lines and large areas, and an X-Acto knife for the tight curves and the details. A box cutter also works. The base layer alone looks nice, but it's incredibly flimsy and doesn't have much dimension. So, the next step is to build up layers. For the hilt, I'll be using this pizza box. It's much thicker than the base, so it's better to use for bulky areas. Trace the shape of the hilt twice, one for the front and the back side. Cutting thick cardboard with scissors can be tricky because of its resistance, so I tend to cut away larger chunks before continuing a line. Then I'll go back and refine with a knife. To assemble the pieces, you can use any adhesive, but I'm partial to All Reliable, hot glue. Line up your pieces and press them firmly together to ensure they stick. You may need to go back and reinforce a few areas. The hilt is nice and sturdy now. Next, we'll strengthen the blade. I'm using this shoe insert thingy since it's about as thin as the original layer. The steps are the same as before: trace, cut, and glue. If you want even more stability, you can insert part of a popsicle stick in between the layers. Once again, press firmly around the edges to seal everything together. I didn't place the popsicle stick close enough to the hilt, so my example is still a bit wobbly, but much more structurally sound than before. Now it's time to sand. I'm using a nail file for this step, but sandpaper works more efficiently. Cut away any large imperfections, then carefully sand the edges. This makes the curves rounder and the lines smoother. Also, sanding down the packaging layers will make the cardboard easier to paint later. No matter how you sand, cardboard will leave residue that you don't want to breathe in, so be sure to do this step in a well-ventilated area and use the proper protection. Painting is pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to explain it anyways. For each area, you'll need to layer your paint 2 or 3 times for even coverage. Cardboard absorbs paint, which helps each layer dry more quickly, but also means one coat isn't enough. No great warrior wants Domino's branding on their weapon, at least that I know of. For metallic areas, one layer of silver or gold paint over a few base layers will be fine enough to make it shine. Painting over the edges won't be enough to hide the corrugated layers of thick cardboard. You know, the wavy parts. To hide these edges, cut out thin strips of thin board, glue the edge, and wrap them around the area. Just look at that difference. To add even more dimension, you can weather your paint job. Dip a dry brush into some black paint and lightly shade areas that would naturally wear down over time. If the paint looks too dark, you can wipe it away with a paper towel or your finger. For a little extra decoration, I wrapped some twine around the hilt to create a stronger grip. This part is optional. And there you have it! A nice looking dagger made almost entirely out of cardboard. This only took me a few hours out of my day to make. And it looks really clean too. I hope this helped you and inspired you to create your own cardboard-based creations. Tutorials aren't necessarily my thing, so I hope this was very well explained. Thank you for watching, like, subscribe, and hit all of the buttons. I'll see you around. Happy crafting!